What's up, guys? It's Missy. I'm back with another SimCity Buildit video, and I am starting the video that I had talked about in the Boost Your Confidence video. So today we're going to be talking about the updated information with the contest and mayors. Now, about 8 months ago, for the last 8 months ago, I had started putting out a lot of contest and mayors information for players to follow and guides and things like that. Now, since I've done that, SimCity has, for the first time in 6 years, they have made pretty much every change that I've talked about in terms of how to teach you guys to win. They went and screwed up and changed the game. You know, I started saying, you know, clear your VU tasks because they spawn all the time, and they changed it. I started saying, you know, ignore your upgrades and work around it doing this, and they changed it. And I started complaining about the Omega canisters. Now those are gone. Then there's the SimCity, the war chests. I started telling players, you know, like, this is horrible. Don't play war. These rewards are terrible. The tasks are terrible. All of a sudden they changed it. Now, you think that they would be changing it for the better, and they're not. They're making it harder on players because it doesn't benefit them if you win the contest. What benefits them is to keep you competitive enough and invested enough to where you want to continue playing, but you have no real benefit to the game. And I focus my channel 100% on efficiency. So my goal here is to get you the most that you can get out of this game for the least amount of money and time spent. That is what my channel predominantly focuses on. Now, this contest and mayors video is going to be strictly for level 18 to 24 players. If you are below that, below or above, some of what is said here does apply. But if you do not fall into this level bracket, there's a lot of information that you will not have available to you, and it will mess up how you select your choices. So if you do not meet that criteria, do not go and play a level 11 list or a level 50 list or whatever, like I am talking about in this guide. I have information on those level brackets, but you got to be careful what you apply and what you don't. So here's the thing. There's several stages to the contest, and we're going to talk about each one. Now, I had to write this entire guide, and I spent the last 5 years analyzing the contest and mayors. And what people don't realize when they give out information and guidance is that they're talking about high-level players. When they say, do your highest valued task and always do your highest valued task, first off, that's not always the case, okay? Because you have tasks that have the ability to be worth more points than others, right? And then you have tasks that repeat themselves. Like, you can have more than one in the list. And those tasks typically are not premium tasks. Now, what a premium task is a task that can or will always be worth at least 3,000 points. Or damn near 3,000 points, okay? So here's the thing. Upgrades are considered premium, but a regular residential upgrade can only be worth 2,400. So that is a non-premium. At the level bracket between level 18 and 24, you're going to only level up to level 24 using only regular residential homes. This means that doing any upgrades, as far as the contest of mayors goes, is out, right? So you have to organize your list in a very strategic way to get the highest valued tasks to pop up. That's essentially what you're doing here. And so what ends up happening is, let's say that you have a bunch of low point tasks, but they're tasks that have the ability to be worth high valued points, and they're sitting in your list worth a low value. They aren't going to pop up until you clear them. But when do you clear them? Because they're low value. And taking, you know, the fact that you have a limited number of assignments, you got to be very careful about when and how you rotate things. So you need to break things down into all kinds of different categories and analyze everything all the time. You know, people constantly try to simplify it, and you are always looking at everything, okay? So the very first thing that you want to look at is the player's city level. this is going to determine how many factory slots that they have available, right? Okay. Then you want to look at the league that they're in. This will determine on whether or not they should be spending any cash or what level of resources, tickets, and things like that they should be invested in. Many of you guys know this type of stuff already, right? But then you look at the points value. Okay, so you need to look at placement. And what we're going to talk about here is if you look at the breakdown of a list, okay, on average, you have the ability to have 2 tasks in your list worth 3,000 points. Then you usually have between 1 and 4 tasks right around 2,000 points. Now, when I say right around, what is the threshold points value limit there? That is 1,700 to about 2,400, right? Those are your 2,000 point tasks. Now, anything below 1,700 is considered the next level down. Okay, so if you can have a total of 2 3K tasks and 4 2K tasks at any one time, and you start noticing that you have a lot of high valued upgrades, you're not leaving yourself any opportunity for anything else to pop up. So you have to take a risk and cancel something, right? And so you need to know what you need to know about each and every task, and every task has its own definition, right? And just simply looking at a list by value, you're not going to know what to pick. You have to know what that task is about. So think of it like this. Think of it like you're taking an English test and you have all these words and you have to put these words in the right context in the sentence, but you don't know the definition to any of the words. How are you going to do the test? You can't if you don't know what the words mean. And so what I've noticed with a lot of people is they're trying to arrange their list, but they're not studying the type of task that they're arranging. And so I made this guide because the original, it had the points value and it had something similar to this, but it didn't have the updated changes. So we're going to go through this guide so that you guys are fully aware of what's going on. Now I want to repeat again that this is only for level 18 to 24 players. Now, the definitions still match the other level players, but the criteria is different. Meaning, okay, let's say the monster can be in your list. You can only have 1 monster in your list. Let's say that. And let's say that you only want to do that task if it's 2K or higher and never touch it below 2,000 points. That is assuming, right, that you're playing in the Mega League and that you are between levels 18 and 24. If you are a lower level player and you're playing in the Mega League like a level 11 player, you don't really have a lot of option because you can't do upgrades. Productions are limited because you don't have any tokens. So you're going to be doing way different assignments than a higher level player or like a midway level player. So a lot of the criteria as far as the definition goes is still yes, like yes, that monster task does only pop up once. Yes, you should only do it if it's 2,000 or higher. But the criteria is different based on the league that you're in. So this guide is for the Mega League and for the definition between level 18 and level 24. All right, War Card Upgrade. This is a premium task. This is a task that is worth 3,000 points on a normal week and 6,000 on a double. Okay, so that's the other thing. During double points week, a lot of people continue trying to have a 2K average. You now need a 4K average. Do not be fooled by that. Okay? All right, so let's read what I wrote here. It says, War Card Upgrade is always worth 3,000 points. Okay, always. It's never worth anything less or more. This task should be done in Mega only. Okay, so that very first sentence, do you know how many players are going to read that and have this document saved in their phone and come to me when they're in a different league and say, should I do this task? It's right there. I cannot tell you how many times I've had to screenshot this list this week and send it to people. And they have a copy of it. So what it comes down to is you need to make some flashcards if you need to. And really study what you need to know about each and every task. So, only done in Mega. So meaning if you're in a different league and you're not in Mega, what do you know about a 3K placement? As long as it remains there, it does not allow for opportunity to pop up. So if it's the only thing in your list that's of any kind of high value, you might be able to leave it for a task or two, but you will eventually need to cancel it. Okay? All right. You will need to launch war attacks in order to obtain war cards. So this is a little tip for you guys here. In order to be able to do this task in Mega when it comes up, and this is a very easy 3K points, you will need to launch war attacks. And by doing that, you need to unlock war cards. You should save as many upgrades as possible for these tasks, okay? It says this task should only be done if you have a chance of winning Mega. Now, here's the thing with the war card upgrades. They are very limited. So you have to obtain the war cards and you have to obtain the keys to upgrade the war cards. Now, at some point, the war cards, the requirements are going to start to rise for the keys and the cards, okay? And if you are dinking around and doing these upgrades in the lower leagues when they don't matter, or let's say you have a hacker in your league and you have a pretty good idea that you're not going to win, do not waste any of your valuable upgrades, very limited valuable upgrades, in a league where you think you may not win. Consider it very limited, because once you get to like level 4 of each card, it starts to get really expensive, and it's just not worth it to drop 80 gold keys and need like, 100 and something of each card or something. Like, it's ridiculous. Okay, so you want to take advantage of these tasks. You want to stack up as many war points as you possibly can. What you should be doing if you're a low level player is you should be launching as many attacks as you can on the monster to obtain these war cards. Okay? All right. And then anytime your club's in war, this is another reason why I tell players not to camp low level, because what ends up happening is they camp low level for way too long. Then they get to level 18, they unlock the war feature, they're already in Mega, and they can't do their task. And that task, it's such an easy task, and they end up, it's a major setback, not being able to do your war assignments. That's 30% of your assignments, your premiums. And when you hit Mega at level 18 and you're not prepared for that, it's not good. So any low-level player should be attacking the monster as much as possible. Okay, so launch attack in Club Wars. Now, this is the green card that pops up on your list. Again, this is a premium task. Now, what do we know about this task? This task should be done to open up opportunity, right? It is best to watch your war timer to ensure you clear your tasks before it's too late. Now, when I say clear, I mean complete. So that's the word I use to refer to as completing a task, okay? Now, before it's too late, this task typically doesn't reoccur very often, and there's a lot of typos and grammatical errors. I'm gonna fix it, but I wanted to get this out for you guys. This task typically doesn't reoccur very often, so it is an excellent task to do if you're trying to open up something better. You can only have one of this task in your list. So this particular task cannot be done on the monster. This is the task that it has the green card and it says launch attacks in Club Wars. So what did we learn from this definition? We learned that this is an excellent task to open up opportunity, as it normally does not come right back, and it's premium. Okay, so it's usually worth a decent amount of points when it does come in. Now, given the fact that you have to be in an active war to complete it, you want to keep a very good eye on it if it's in the bottom of your list. Let's say that let's say war ends in an hour, and you see several tasks in your list that are going to keep you busy for probably 10 hours or so, right? it would probably be advised that you clear your 3K tasks or higher, if there are any, right? And then, as soon as you seize the opportunity, get that war task done, because you don't want to end up not doing it for like 8 hours and then stuck not being able to do it and having to kind of dink around and work around it. That will really hurt you. So always pay attention to your war timer, okay? All right, war attack common or rare. So this is when it says launch common war attack or launch rare war attack. Common is the blue cards, rare is the yellow cards. This is not when it's asking for a specific attack, it's when it's asking for a specific rarity. These tasks typically do not come back right away. Again, these are good rotatable tasks to open up better opportunity, as they don't come back right away. This task can be done on the monster and during war. You can have a launch common and a launch rare at the same time, but you can't have two of the same, such as common on common. So you may get a launch common war attack, but you're not going to get a launch common war attack again. You can get a launch common and a launch rare in your list at the same time, but never two of the same rarity, okay? Now, what you need to remember, again, is watching your timers, making sure that you are in an active club to do war, and making sure that you're paying attention to, you know, the monster and things like that. So let's say that your club's not in war, but your monster shows up in 2 hours or something. Then you would plan on that, okay? But you need to plan to have whatever, items are needed. Okay, so that's what you know about that one. But the legendary war attack is different. This one is an HP task. What that means is a high premium. It means it has the ability to be worth more than 3,000 points, which is rare, okay? This task, as you can see in the definition, it says it can exceed the 3K value, making this task extremely valuable. Now, although this task does not normally reoccur, it is a very good idea to get it done as soon as you see ample opportunity. It is a good rotatable task. It can be done on both monster and during war, and this task only pops up one at a time, okay? So let's say that you open up your list and you're working on your list and you see, okay, all of your main tasks are pretty well taken care of. If you don't know the difference between a main task and a rotatable task, I have a video on that. You will need to know that. So you've got your main task done and you're looking at your rotatable tasks. And you see let's say you see a 2,000 launch legendary attack and a 2,000 launch rare attack. Which one should you do first? Does it matter? Yes, it matters. You should do the legendary one first, because you know, now granted, you probably won't get it immediately after, but you want to open up opportunity for it to pop up. If it could occur, you know, at least give it the opportunity to occur. But leaving it sit there, you know there's zero opportunity for it to reoccur. So if you had to pick between the two, you would pick legendary over rare, right? Now you would likely get a high value task in return. The issue with lower level players such as yourselves is that typically what happens is you do get a high task in return, but usually it's either an upgrade or like a VU or something. So what you want to do before clearing your legendaries or your war attacks, you want to rearrange your list to kind of look and see like where you're at with your upgrades, where you're at with your VU. Let's say you have a launch 1 VU and a launch 1200 legendary. If you haven't tried the VU yet, it would be advised that you try the launch 1 VU before doing the legendary, simply because of the fact that you want to open up the possibility of getting a high valued VU rather than a high valued upgrade. Now, it's risky. If you've already cleared the VU a couple times and it's come back worth about 1,000 points, then I would wait a while, because that task does not spawn 3K as frequently as it used to. Just be aware of that. But that was an example. Okay, war deliveries, premium. This is a premium task. So a lot of people seem to think that it's non-premium. No, it's premium, okay? It can be worth 3,000 points. And it can be done during war and during when the monster is there. So this task is great to open up opportunity. Normally you get it like right at the beginning of the contest, maybe worth 3,000 or 2,500 points. But if it's anything less than 2,000, consider it a rotatable task, okay? Any task is, well, not any task, but any premium task worth less than 2,000 points is considered rotatable. Any premium task worth 2,000 points or higher is considered a main task, okay? So, unless you, yeah, no, it is. So here's the biggest thing that I think a lot of people struggle with is understanding when they have opportunity and when they don't. So people will end up dinking around doing really low value tasks out of fear of cancellation. So canceling is a really hard choice to make because it costs you an entire task and you get nothing for it. So you think, oh, I'd be better off doing a crappy task and at least getting some points rather than canceling. And that's not always the case because of what you're opening up. For instance, let's say you had let's say you had 3 upgrades worth 2,000 points or higher, and then you had 3 factory tasks like worth maybe 1,500 points or something. A lot of people would just say, well, I'm going to go ahead and clear these factory tasks. They're only 500 points lower, and I won't have any problems. The issue, though, isn't that. The issue is that you're going to clear these factory tasks, and there's still no room for anything good to come in, so you're just going to continue to get garbage. Now, you may get 1 or 2 decent tasks, as you do still have, you know, that 3K placement there, but how often do you really see 4 tasks in your list worth 2K or higher and 2 3K tasks? Usually right at the beginning of the contest, but usually you don't see that, you know, consistently, right? So if there's no opportunity there or less opportunity, it's probably not a good idea to do a bunch of low value tasks that have high timers on them, right? So we'll get to that here in just a minute. All right, launch specific war attack. This is when it asks you for a specific card. Now, this is technically a non-premium, but it comes in so rarely, and it's usually worth some decent points, that it's kind of on the fence of both. So it's great to open up opportunity, like I said, as it does not come back, you know, right away. But it's usually not worth 3,000 points. Okay, so it would be good to do this task if you needed to open up some kind of an opportunity. All right, you can do this task on the monster or in Club Wars, but know that when the monster comes in, only specific cards work on him, and they're random. Okay, so if it's asking you to launch the disco twister and you don't get that card on the monster, then you're screwed, basically, unless you're in Club Wars. Okay, so launch VU. This is a premium task. This task right here, it gets a lot of people. So here's the thing. Normally, I would advise players to do this task immediately if it's in their list. Being's how, as long as it sits there, you have 0 opportunity of getting it worth 3,000 points. So what often happens is people will complain that they didn't get a VU task the whole contest, and that you know, they got unlucky, and then you get screenshots of their list and you see that the entire contest they had a VU assignment, but it was only worth 1,000 points. And well, there you go. As long as it's in your list, you will not get it again. So you've completely eliminated all possibility of getting that 3K task, and it's one of your premiums. But here's the problem. A lot of people, normally I would advise to clear this right away, and it would trump anything else, okay? But now, SimCity has lowered the spawn rate to get the 3K VU. It's been like cut in half. Like literally people do this task and they constantly get smacked with a 1K task. And it's gotten to the point where it's risky to even touch it. Now, you still want to do it, But basically what you're going to do is you're going to work all your other tasks before it. So let's say you had a launch 1 Club Wars attack, or launch 1 rare attack, or whatever. You would be better off going with the launch 1 War Premium than the launch 1 VU Premium, okay? Because that one actually has a higher chance of giving you back something good. Now, let's say that you've used all of your good low rotatable premiums. Now would be a good time to at least test the waters. You want to at least test the waters and open up that possibility, because you don't want to close it off 100%. There is still a chance that you could get a 3K VU. So every now and then, if it's still sitting in your list, go ahead and give it a try. Okay? Okay, so I'll go ahead and read what I wrote here, though. It says, for several weeks, launch 1 VU hasn't been giving out 3K placement very often. You will not get another launch VU if you already have one in your list. If you have it in your list worth 2K or higher, then absolutely do it. But if it's worth 1K, you should wait until you have no high non-premiums and no low premiums. No low premiums. Time rotate. I don't know what time rotate. Okay, I'll fix that typo later. Okay, so let's see. Okay, then take the chance and test the waters. If it comes back worth 1K, then you should leave it sit for the rest of the contest or until you run out of rotatable options and feel the reward outweighs the risk. So you've run out of all real rotatable options, and it's not giving you anything good, and it's time to risk it again. Okay, the next thing here, repair VU, non-premium, okay? So what a lot of people will try to do is they will try to pair up their VU tasks to kind of match to save VU items. Now, normally you think that this would be a good idea, like playing smart, but it's not. Unless the choice is correct to do this task, then you should not pair it up with your launch 1 or launch 2 or whatever VUs, simply because it's convenient. You know, never do that. Always do things based on efficiency, not convenience. Okay, so this task should be left to sit until all high premiums have been done. Or if it's worth 2K or higher, you would do it. For example, let's say it comes down to a 2K repair versus a 1,300 chairs. You would do the repair because it holds that 2K placement. So a lot of players make this mistake. They think, well, the chairs are premium, I'm going to get those done. They're worth 700 less points. They are premium, they are rotatable, but you have something sitting there worth 2K, meaning it's holding that 2K placement. And if you're limited to the number of 2K tasks you can have, it would stand to reason that you would want to clear it. Now, if the overall goal here is to get a 2K average at a minimum, then why does it matter if it comes in worth if it's done non-premium or premium? As long as you're getting that 2K placement cleared, then you need to get it done, okay? Now, I wish in a perfect world that we could manipulate our list to constantly give us 2K or higher premiums, but it's never gonna work that way, okay? You're gonna have times where you have to do non-premium tasks. And so many people focus on, is it premium? Is it premium? You know, you got to focus on, does it meet the criteria? Does it open up opportunity? Does it clear the spot in the list? So whenever I compare two tasks against each other, basically what you do is you do a list assessment. You cross off anything you know you shouldn't do, right? And then you usually get it down between main tasks and rotatable tasks by value. Now at this point, you're looking at, okay, let's say you can usually get it down to two tasks, this one versus this one. What you're gonna look at is you're gonna go, okay, what does this one offer me? Does this one open up opportunity? What opportunities does this one open up? Does this one have more points value? But does this one have better opportunity? And if it's like, well, yeah, this one has more points, but it doesn't quite meet the 2K criteria, but this one opens up better opportunity, then you would go with the one that opens up the best opportunity at that point, right? Okay, so let's say you would do the repair because it holds a 2K value. For example, assume you have 4 tasks at 2,000 points. Leaving a 2K task to sit to open opportunity is not advised. So, like I just said, you have 4 tasks at 2,000 points, right? You would be, but you have, okay, so let me reiterate again. But under those circumstances, you would not do the chairs because of the fact that they are such a low value, right? Okay, but let's change it around. Let's say because it opens up better chance of opportunity, you would likely do the, okay, so here you go. We're gonna change it around, and it says, but if you had a 1,980 chairs, which is only 20 points lower, so it definitely meets the 2K threshold bracket of the 17 to 20, you know what I mean? 17 to 2,400. So typically, what you would do is it opens up better opportunity, right? So if you had to pick between a 2K VU repair and a 1,980 chairs, it would stand to reason that you would pick the chairs because it has better opportunity. And you know you're going to be doing the VU soon anyways, right? All right. You know you're, yeah, right there. Okay, so this task is almost always in your list, the VU repair, and typically comes back worth 1,200 to about 2,000 points. It's more rare to get the 2,400 VU repair than it is to get the 2,400 keys, or the 2,000 keys. If you have to pick keys versus repair, saying both points match, you should go with the keys. Why is that? Because keys have a higher chance of coming back worth 2,000 points or higher, and they have a higher chance of coming back in a longer period of time. Usually VU repair comes back within about 3 tasks. Now the keys is almost always in the list as well, but usually not quite that quickly. Sometimes it can take like 10 tasks to get the keys back. And like I said, normally it's worth more points than the VU repair. Okay? So I've no joke, I've seen people do repair after repair after repair. I did a video on it one time. One of my trainees had done repair. I think I counted like 20 something times in one round of the contest. And it really hurt her score because I would say 3/4 of the time it came in worth less than 2,000 points. Now, she didn't even notice doing it. Like, she just, I don't know how she didn't notice it, but I was astounded at how many times she did the damn task. And it's like, dude, it's hitting you with too many low values. You got to think. Sometimes it's better to leave something sit or to cancel something than it is to continue clearing it. And people, they don't understand that concept. It's like a lot of people view the factory tasks, for example, as a time issue and only a time issue. So they think, well, I'm going to bed anyway. I'm going to clear it. It's a low value, but I'm going to clear it because I have plenty of time. What they don't realize is it's not finding the time that is the issue. It's clearing that and having it come back, and then having to find the time if it's worth a high value and not having that option, because once it's in there worth a high value, you kind of have to do it, you know? So if it's there worth a low value, you shouldn't risk it, really, you know? You would be better off placing down something else. Okay, so let's see here. Earn gold keys. This is a non-premium task. This task is normally in your list here, but takes a little longer to reappear than the VU repair, okay? Normally, it's gonna drive me nuts. It normally comes back worth 2K or better. I should say higher there. I told you guys this is not, whoops, nope. This is not finalized at all. This was done very late at night, and I wanted to get it out for you guys. Okay. I should be doing this right now. All right, if you have to pick between the two, pick the keys if the points are equal or higher. We just talked about that, as it is a better chance for opportunity. Only one key task can be in your list at a time. All right, the monster. He's non-premium. He can be worth up to 2,500 points. This task should be done if it's worth 2K or higher. No exceptions. So let's say you just got your list, okay? It's the beginning of the contest, and you have a 2K monster, and he leaves in 10 minutes, but you have better options in your list. You need to get him done before he leaves, because he takes forever to come back, and that is going to really hurt your score. But let's say you have a couple hours, then obviously you would want to clear the other tasks, but definitely get that done before he leaves. Now, basically what's going to happen is you're clearing the monster for one reason and one reason only, and that is to open up that points value placement. He is always in your list, always. And if you clear him anything less than 2,000 points, he will come back, and if he comes back with a high value, you have to clear him again. So as long as it's 2,000 points or higher, get it done and get it out of the way. It's, like I said, it's always going to be in your list, so don't worry about that. But never touch it if it's below 2K. There is no exceptions. There's no reason why you would need to do that. Now, if you're a low-level player, that's a little different, okay? Because you don't have other opportunity. But again, we're not doing CoM stuff on low-level players right now. Okay, so let's see. Production tasks, shop production. This seems to be one of the hardest for people to grasp, is when to do shop production and when not. Now, this week in particular, SimCity has really flooded people with shop productions. So let's talk about the shop productions, and don't try to bend the criteria to fit the narrative. What that means is, if you see it here and it's said in black and white, do not do it under these pretenses, don't go back to your list and try to manipulate it and say, well, I just thought that it didn't matter. It matters. Okay? All right. Most production tasks are less than 3K, but they are considered to be premium. Okay? So here's the thing. All of the factory productions are worth less than 3,000 points besides electrical. So technically they're premium, but they're technically non-premium as well. So don't let that fool you, though. All right, these tasks can pop up in multiples, meaning you can have like 7 stupid factory tasks at a time. It's ridiculous. Like, it really is. Okay, here's the thing. So you can have multiples, meaning you can have like feed, chems, glass, sugar, metal, wood, all at the same time, but you can never have 2 of the same exact task, like 2 feed tasks or something. You should prep any of these tasks, even if you, okay, so here's the thing. When the contest of mayors begins, okay, part of the problem is people don't know what they should prep prior to the contest starting. Now, if you're level 18 to 24, you have sugar unlocked at level 18, right? Then at level 19, you unlock glass. And then at level like 20-something, you unlock feed. So if you think about it, you want to do the one that takes the longest at night. So what you should do is, let's say that you have feed unlocked. You need to pick between feed and glass on which one you want to prep. Prep all 40 in the nighttime, and if you end up getting a task for it, great. Now leave the feed uncollected. Let's say you wake up in the morning and you do not have a feed task, but you have a sugar task. And the sugar task is worth, let's say, 1,500 points. You would not prep the sugar. Absolutely not, okay? Unless it meets 2K exactly, or right around the 1,700 to 1,800 threshold, then you would leave it sit. Now, if it's right around 1,800 to 2K, you're gonna need to do it at some point, but right now, it's very early on, and if it's not your immediate next rotatable, leave the feed sit for a little while longer. But let's say that now you get a glass task, and let's say it's worth 1880. Now, you know that you're gonna have a couple hours of downtime. What you should do is look at the amount that it's asking for. Let's say it's asking for 47 glass, and you have only 40 slots available in your factories. Rather than filling up your factories with 40 slots and taking up, 7 hours or 5 hours of your day, what you should do is clear out about 10 slots and then make the 10 glass, okay? Leave the 30 feed to sit. And what you should do, and the reason I say 10 glass is so that you have a couple extra in case you accidentally collect one or in case the game doesn't count it. Then, before bed or whenever you see it being the next opportunity, what you would do is you would start the glass task, you would collect the 10, and then you would start the 40. And then when you wake up in the morning, you would be done with your task, okay? Now, let's say that you are going to bed and you already have a feed task in your list, but it's right around 1,500 points. Should you prep the feed or should you prep something else? You should prep something else because the odds of you clearing the feed are slim to none, right? Because of its points value. So you're actually better off prepping something else in hopes that if it does come in, it'll already be done. Now, by doing the second half first, when we did the 10 instead of the 40, that allows you to keep your other factories open during the day so that if you get a wood or plastic task, you can actually do it, right? Now, what a lot of people do is they try to rationalize doing their factory task because of time. Like, let's say that they have a sugar task for 1,300. They think, well, I'm going to bed anyway, I might as well do it. No. No, 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 no. The thing with sugar and chems is this. Chems comes back almost all the time. I mean, not quite as often as like keys or repair, but it has a pretty high chance of returning. Now, normally chemicals is below 2,000 points, but just high enough to be annoying. So if you get lucky enough to get chemicals in your list with a low value, do not touch it. Don't do it. I'm telling you, you will regret it. Same as sugar. It's not about the 2-hour downtime. It's about the 4-hour downtime for you low-level players. And it's about it happening again at a more inconvenient time, right? So let's say that you have a task for sugar, right? Let's say it's right around 1,400 points. And you're like, well, I'm going to bed anyway. Well, the problem here is that sugar has a good chance of coming back with 2,000 points or higher. Now, that's not good for you because if it comes back worth 2,000 points or higher, you're going to be forced to do it. And let's say that you don't have enough to finish it in one round. That's 8 hours of downtime. Now, have that happen 2 or 3 times, and you've already wasted, almost 2 full days on dinking around with a couple tasks, given the fact that you have sleeping, eating, life, and other tasks to complete, right? So it would stand to reason that you wouldn't want to open up any more opportunity for any more downtime to come in the future. So a lot of people, they constantly forget that. They think, oh, it's no big deal, I'm going to bed anyway. It's not about that. It's about the next day. It's about when it comes right back. Last 2 weeks, I've had 3 of my trainees argue with me over sugar or chemicals. All three instances, they came back worth more points, just high enough to be a problem, and almost instantly. And all 3 trainees learned their lesson real quick. And they never did it again after that. Now, smart people learn from their mistakes. Smarter people learn from other people's mistakes. Just take my word for it, okay? It's not worth it. So if it's worth 2,000 points or higher, you will need to clear it at some point. But try to do that, when the opportunity presents itself. As long as you can work around it and keep your other slots open, you should be good. Okay, the next thing is factory production. Oh, we did the wrong thing. That's factory production. This is shop production. Okay, shop production. The shop production is a little bit different than factory production. So the shop production, you can also have multiples of, but not of the same item. So obviously you can have grass and saps, but not 2 saps, right? Okay. Factory production and regular production are both considered to be premium and non-premium tasks. So the majority of them are technically non-premium, but they all have the ability to be worth at least 3, like not each and every one, but the category itself has the ability somewhere to be worth 3,000 points. Here's the thing with shop production. Depending on the level that you are, it will determine kind of what the difficulty is for you. So what I try to advise players to have is at least 200 to 300 cash when they hit Mega, and have all 11 slots in every shop that they do have unlocked. Now the reason for this is because even if you do have tokens unlocked, you need to get tasks cleared as quickly as possible, as efficiently as possible. And you want to minimize any amount of tokens that you would need to use if possible. So what I advise players to do the night before the contest is to fill up each and every shop with 11 items total. Now, rather than having just 11 items sitting there, ready for pickup and not being able to really do anything with their shops and not be able to make money, I advise that players collect 1 item and have 10 items ready for pickup, and 1 item being made at all times. So let's say that you need to prep your shops, but you don't know what item to prep. You should prep whatever item you feel you could get a task for, and whatever item actually takes a significant amount of time to make. For instance, let's say that you have the fashion store, you have shoes and caps unlocked. Caps yield higher profits and don't need glue, whereas shoes need glue and they don't yield as good a profit. But let's say that you've never had a caps task and you've had several shoe tasks. You would probably want to prep shoes, right? So basically, you prepped shoes and you opened up your list and you see that there is a caps task at the very bottom worth, let's say, 1,500 points. At some point it is going to become a rotatable task, but it's not yet, and you have a ways to go. What you should do is pick up 1 shoe and put down 1 cap. And that way you at least have started making it, but if you get a shoe task in the meantime, you still have 10 shoes ready for pickup. And just slowly start to alternate that out until you reach the point where you need to actually do the caps task. Now, what a lot of people have trouble with is clearing out work that's already been done when they have a task for it. You have to learn how to just deal with it, okay? So for instance, let's say that you prepped feed the night before and you get a task for, let's say, textiles. And let's say the feed is 1,400 and the textiles is 2,100. You need to open up the feed, collect, what I mean is you need to clear the feed out, not doing the task at all, and put down the textiles. And a lot of people, they don't want to do that. They just want to do their feed task because it's already done. Do not be one of those people. Those people are the people that are below you on the list, okay? So let's say that you get a grass task. It's 1,800 points, and then you have one for, let's say, 1,690 for saps, and you already have the saps done. I would probably do the saps because it's only like 100 points difference, and they take so much longer than grass. So if you see that you're going to need to rotate that in the very near future, and it's something that takes that damn long, and it's not worth that much lower, then that's okay. But if it's something drastic, no, don't do it. It's not worth the risk. So that pretty much concludes, what I have to say about the shop production. Try to go as quickly as you can with those if you need to. There is a Contest to Mayor's guide that I have linked to in the description of all my videos. I have the Contest to Mayor's guide linked, but I also have the production guide linked. And I have a video where I explain to you guys exactly how to read the token part of the guide. Now, in this guide, this guide is extremely useful, you guys. If you guys need to make, let's say, 12 saps on a token, if you learn how to read the chart that I've provided, it'll tell you exactly how many items that you can produce on a token. And for those of you who don't know how to do the math for that, basically, you're going to take the number of minutes it takes to make the item and divide that into a 60-minute time frame. Okay, because a token runs for 60 minutes, so you need to know exactly how many of that item you can produce in 1 hour's time. Then you multiply it by whatever token you're using. So let's say that you are a 3-star shop, so you make cream every 1 hour. You make 1 cream per hour, okay? So what would you do? You would say, well, I'm going to use a gold token. I'm going to use it at a times 12 rate. So if you make 1 per hour and the token runs for 1 hour total, right? Then you're making it at a times 12 rate. So you're taking 1 times 12. And that's how many cream that you're going to be able to produce in a 1 hour time frame. So 12 cream for a 12 times token, right? Now, that's all you need to do. So if you have, let's say you need to make fire pits, you're going to take, okay, it takes 192 minutes. You're going to divide that into the 60-minute time frame, and you're going to multiply it by 12. Okay, so let's see here. Factory production we talked about. Earning coins. Okay, this task is kind of a pain in the butt. So usually I would consider this task to be off limits to players that are right around 18 to level 24. So lately, like I said, because the game has been changing, we have been rotating coins as a last option. So you're looking at your list, you have no main tasks really, and you have pretty much worked through a lot of your rotatables. You're looking at a really crappy list, like maybe you've got a bunch of low valued upgrades, maybe 1 or 2 high upgrades, maybe some low productions, some monsters, some V repairs that are low. Like your list is just looking really crappy, but you've got a 16 or 1700 coins task sitting there. You can use that as a last option, a last rotatable option. Like, I don't have anything else going for me. I need to try to open up something. Now, usually the coins do come back, but the idea here is to kind of break the cycle and jumble up the list a little bit. Like maybe you're caught in a loop that you can't afford to be caught in. This would be a good task to break the loop if you didn't have anything better to break the loop with. Basically use this as a last resort to open up something and add some points. Okay, let's see. High level players should avoid this task. So if you're above level 24, you know, you really should not be in a position. Basically what happens is when you go past level 30, at that point you're leveling, right? So when you don't have to avoid these stupid upgrade tasks, that the whole contest of mayors changes. The choices become so much easier. Think about if you could do these high valued upgrades. Every time you got a 3K upgrade, you could actually do it. Think about how much easier your choices would be. Well, when you're not in a position to do that, you have to, it complicates things. And so basically, high level players that don't need to cancel upgrades or avoid upgrades should not ever need to be in a position to do the coins task as long as they're in the Mega League or even in Metro. Anything below that, yeah, you would just be doing coins for basically quick, fast, and easy points, but not to actually like win, right? Okay, the War Booster. This is a non-premium. Now, this used to be an off-limits task at all times because it used to be in your list 100% of the time, worth 1,000 points. Now, they have since changed that. This War Booster pops up very rarely. It usually opens up good possibility. So if you have nothing else better to rotate, then this is a last option to rotate. I would rotate the war booster before the war timer ends. So let's say that you are kind of running low on your main tasks and you know that you got to start rotating. And you see that you have a war booster, and then you have, let's say you have like a 1,300 chairs and a 1,000 war booster. But that's about the only rotatable tasks in your list at this current time, and war ends in a short amount of time. I would advise that if you can't finish the chairs by then, that you at least launch the war booster to open up possibilities. Now, you may want to watch because of the fact that this will likely open up a high-value task. It could open up an upgrade, so just be prepared for that. Now, it won't always. You do need to take the chance because it's an excellent opportunity to open up something better. It really is. So if you see it in your list and you have nothing better, do it. Okay, house upgrades. This house upgrades, non-premium and premium. So airport upgrades are premium, Latin homes are high premiums, new townhomes are high premiums, and regular residentials are non-premiums. So this stuff starts to get confusing, but I'm going to read it to you. It says there's different guidelines for each type of upgrade, okay? So the latest update is that you only build regular homes on your map. So the latest update to the Missy's Building Guide is that you're not building any kind of airport homes. So for those of you who have heard my first videos where I talk about, building 10 of them and only doing one upgrade, do not do that, okay? Just follow the guide, building only regular residential. Now, let's say that you are level 24, but you have a full bar of experience left, and you're playing Mega, you have a good shot at winning, and you have a 2400 regular residential upgrade in your list. Yes, absolutely do it. You have room in your experience bar, it meets the regular residential requirements, it's taking up a 2400 value, yes, do it. If it's taking up a 2000 value, yes, do it. If it's 1600, I would still do it as a rotatable task. Because it can only be worth 2400 points, it doesn't risk your 3K placement. And as long as you do not exceed the experience bar, you will be okay. Now, there's no way that we're going to be able to finish this video before the time kind of runs out here. I'm going to get this uploaded, we're almost done, and then we'll be able to kind of finish up here, and hopefully you guys will be pros by the end of this, okay?